as you can see, welcome. I have Level Up Life on the show. How are you? Can we take this time to do your intro and do a mic check, please? So go ahead. The stage is yours.
I'll tell you, man, it's been a long time since I've opened this camera. Actually, I kind of had a kid. I was like, man, my background. I got to zoom in. Yeah, I haven't done a live stream in a long time, man. So it's kind of
Great.
cool to be on here. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, well, we all appreciate not just me. Everybody appreciates it what you do and what you do for the community too. I see you all the time in Discord, and you're sharing your wisdom, your advice to everybody, and I think overall it's a great thing. That's what really builds this. Well, not even build, but it actually what cements and glues this community together, right? It's the people that offer up their time, their knowledge, and brings that to the community, and it blankets everybody, keeps everybody warm and cozy, right? Which is a good thing, and it makes it feel like home. So I think we're doing good here at Level Up Life. I'm going to give you the stage for now. I'm going to let you to run the show here, if you will. You tell me where to go, you tell me where to click, and I will be happy to oblige. So.
Okay, so let's see where we are. Okay, so you're on the main land page. I'm also going to gear this towards, I guess, we'll keep it exciting for people that already know about the game, but I guess you also want to gear this a little bit towards maybe the person that, like you, who maybe is just like just starting out, right?
Correct. Yes, I want to make this a series.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll keep that in mind as I'm talking. Okay, so here we are. This is Pretoria. This is the main map. Each one of those dots represents a region. And then inside of each of those regions is 1,000 plots. And so this total map represents 150,000 plots. A few things that are interesting, maybe a few interesting points that people might be interested in knowing is that unlike some of the games out there that launched land out there in the crypto space, like Axie had land and a lot of different games launched land, Splinterlands did pretty much sell just about 100% of all the plots. I think there were a couple saved for giveaways and things like that. But essentially, there is no other proposed regions or land or anything like that. There's only rumors and speculation. But as far as we know now, this is it. This is Pretoria. This is the entire map. And all plots are circulating in the market, maybe 90% of them or whatever. There's a bit that haven't been claimed yet. But I think correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think I checked Beaker's website. I think it's about maybe 42 of 140,000-ish have already been kind of claimed. And there's just about 8,000 out there that are just like unclaimed land plots, but they are mostly circulating. So that's where we're at. And then I think when you buy a claim, you're going to get the next one in line. So I think, again, we're pretty much all claimed. I'm not really sure how much is left, but it's not much. Okay, so that's where we're at with that. Now, let's go a little bit deeper in here. So now I'm assuming that you already got a couple land plots, right? So what we could do here is let's go back to the Pretoria map. And I can't actually, oh, no, sorry, I didn't scroll up. So what we could do here is...
the disclaimer of the damned. Mortals and their gold lust. You gather beneath the moon, whispering of profits and power. But heed my words. This segment is for informational purposes only. I am no financial advisor, merely a creature of eternal caution. All investments carry risk, even the ones that glitter like blood in the chalice. Do not mistake my tone for endorsement, nor my gaze for solicitation. I offer no securities, only shadows. So before you stake your fortune, remember, always do your own research, or perish in ignorance.
If you look up at the top here, we've got a couple tabs, right? And the first tab up there at the top is showing the trade terminal. Let's just jump there real quick. Why not? Let's just touch on that real quick. So there's the trade terminal. Now this to me, I'm more of the nerdy investor type, so I do find this is a really fun aspect of the game, and this is where, for anybody who's in crypto knows, this is like our DEX. So this is like an exchange. and this is very interesting. So the way that this works is this is what allows all the resources essentially to be tied to real money, because essentially we have. Go ahead and click that little market tab first. So we have, this is the swap feature, but there's a little tab up there next to swap, says market, and yeah, click the all markets. Okay, now currently we have 4 markets in the game and 4 resources. The white paper and the sort of the rumors and that are coming is that there's going to be more than 50. Okay, so there's going to be a lot. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it just keeps going. That's basically the direction that the game wants to go, is to have a lot of resources, a very healthy market, a lot of market activity. And here what you see, the DEX operates like this is a decentralized exchange. And so the way this works is that you'll see the totals there. And the totals represent, I'm going to pull it up on my screen because yours is a little bit low, so I'm looking at the same thing. And so when you look at the totals there, you'll see there's a grain pool, a wood pool, a stone pool, and an iron pool. Feel free to stop me at any point if I'm going too fast or you have a question, okay? So the way this works is the players themselves are the ones who are adding liquidity, okay? And so the players themselves are the ones that add pairs. So for example, you can be a grain liquidity provider or a wood liquidity provider. And what essentially all you need to do to be a liquidity provider, yeah, this is where you would add or remove your liquidity. And essentially all you do is you have to have an equal dollar value of dark energy crystals or the resource. So in this case, you're clicking the wood one, you would need wood and DEC, or grain and DEC. You need equal dollar values of each, and then you can add that as a liquidity provider, and you could start capturing some of the fees every single time, in real time, every single time someone does a swap using one of those. So whether they're going from DEC to grain or whether they're selling grain for DEC, those are considered the swaps. Currently, and I think there's no plans on changing this, all resources will be pegged to DEC. So someone who wanted to exit a resource would need to go through DEC first and then to SPS or Hive or Bitcoin. And so they're all paired with DEC only. And you can go resource to resource, okay? And that creates just a double jump. So for example, if you were trading wood for grain, you can do that. And you would be essentially double jumping. So you would be going from, it happens automatically on the back end because that's something that Cryptomancer has, that was an update where you can go directly from wood to grain, and it just creates a double jump behind the scenes. So you're going from wood to DEC, and then DEC buys grain. And so you're actually, the fees then become split between those two pools. So you'd be creating fees for both of those pools by jumping between 2 resources. Okay. But again, just to highlight, the important feature here is that, and one of the amazing features here is that all of the liquidity you see here, for example, in the grain pool, you see there's $60,000 of liquidity. In the wood pool, there's 18,000. Stone has 21,000, and iron has $22,000. Nice. That is all. Yeah, that is all player provided liquidity. So yes, when you are swapping, you are swapping against another person's provided liquidity, and as a reward for that, those liquidity providers get to share in those fees. And you can see there. Yeah, so that's that. I don't know if you want me to pause for a second if you have any questions, or we could just move on.
No, that's good. I just want to address the fact that this is one of the first not the first, but one of the first ways to generate some revenue here for yourself, right? You play the game, you get the resources, you put it into the pool. Now you're doing something for the game by providing that liquidity, and then the players are going back and forth and they're dipping and saying, okay, thank you. It's like if you have like a grocery store, right? And you have a whole bunch of product X at your house, and you say, well, I'm going to bring them to the grocery store, let them use it and trade and do this, that, and everything. And then you either take your fees out or you use it yourself to do other things. So this is one example of how you can generate revenue in the game, and this is also a good example of what Cryptomancer is doing to make these small minor things a lot easier for the player by allowing these pools to be dipped and dived be in the background there. So okay, cool.
And we could probably do a whole stream on this alone. But maybe I'll just, while you were talking, maybe I'll just highlight a few points that I think might be interesting to the audience that people may or may not know of. First of all, because this is GameFi, I'll be using that term a lot too. This is GameFi. They have gamified this liquidity pools, and one of the visions that Agrid had originally regarding these dexes was that they wanted these dexes to operate a little bit like, for example, when you are selling grain, you are having to sort of travel, for example, or in real life, like there would be loss and travel expenses and whatnot. And so one of the features behind this is that when you swap, there's a 10% fee. Now that sounds outrageous because in DeFi, a normal swap fee on a DEX is a 0.25%. So to have a 10% fee sounds ludicrous. However, it's supposed to be operating more like a game, so it's gamified, and that's why the high fee is supposed to be more of it's a gamified version where you lose some grain because you had to transport it and blah blah blah. And so just to go a little bit deeper on that for a second, because this is where people might be interested in, is that 10% fee is then split in half. 5% of that fee is burned, and the other 5% goes to the liquidity providers and is shared amongst all the liquidity providers. And so to earn 5%, first of all, let me touch on this because this is something that's very exciting too, is because to be able to burn 5% is huge, and to earn 5% as a liquidity provider is also a great opportunity. And I think that it might not be super exciting right now with the volume, but I think people can really see how this thing could really amp up, because in a normal DEX, 0.25%, but this is, what is this, 4, 8, 16? I mean, this is like 20 times more than a normal DEX, right? And so it only takes, that means that we could produce, 20 times the burn or 20 times the fees by having 20 times less volume, right? So where a normal DEX might have to do with, $100,000 in volume, we could create the same fees and the same burn for 20 times less volume. So we could do that. We could accomplish the same thing for like $5,000 in volume. So if we can really get this thing going, and I believe right now that 5% burn right now on a daily basis is averaging somewhere between, and this is like kind of like nothing exciting is happening right now. There's nothing really to swap for, and there's no event going on. We're probably grinding right around 20 to 30,000 DEC a day being burned just from people doing swaps on this DEX.
This is, just daily activities. This is just out of necessity. Hey, I need to do this. I need to do that. So this is, your average everyday transactions going on, and this is already, profiting in both ways. And, just to point out, the fact that they're burning things as well is absolutely incredible, because that just benefits everybody. Not even the people. You don't even have to play this, and you are benefiting off of these people doing the transaction, and they're just playing the game. They're having fun. So.
And the community benefits by, this is why just being active member who's engaging with the system is strengthening the community and the platform and the tokens. Because by you interacting with the DEX, sometimes it's a feel-good feeling. You say, oh man, I don't want to pay 10% fees, but on the other end, I'm burning tokens by interacting with the DEX.
I've heard you say that. I've heard you say that. I don't know if it was either on somebody else's show or maybe in one of your talks that you were hosting there on Discord. And I didn't understand that until now. I understand that you were doing something almost like sacrificial, if you will, because you knew that ultimately you're not going to benefit yourself 100%, but you knew that that was actually benefiting the community. So you're taking one for the team, if you will, right? And I understand that now, the way you explained that. So that's
right. Yep. Like, for example, when we had the cards that were supposed to be crafted, the cards on land, my region doesn't produce any stone. So I'm actually on a deficit of stone on a daily basis. And so that card required stone. I'm thinking now, some people might think to themselves, well, I'm not going to craft that card because I don't have stone. And I took a different approach. I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to buy the stone, create the market activity, right? So I'm essentially creating burn and making volume and market transaction. I'm paying fees on purpose to go out and craft a card, which I didn't have resources for, just to participate,
Right.
Right. And then I'm not
Yep.
even a ranked player, and those are ranked cards. And I crafted the cards, and then I sold the cards, and so I just enjoyed participating in the market activity, knowing I created fees and burn, and So, anyways, that's
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Cool. I think we're good with this. We can revisit this maybe on a part 2 and go a little bit more deeper into it. And I think this is probably going to generate some questions from the community, I hope. I'm going to be posting this on YouTube as well, so we can get a good, chat going on there. So if we do get some, questions from the people, then we can address it. Hey, Level Up Light said this. What does exactly mean, or can you go into this more? So I'm not just telling this to you. I'm also saying this to everybody that's listening to this. If you do have questions, feel free to message me, Joe Blast, on Discord, and I'll address it. So again, we want to use this as a teaching tool at the end of the day, because
I think it would be, if you don't mind taking another second, I think it's really helpful. I streamed before, and one thing I learned is it's very helpful if you actually just go through the steps, like you actually do it. It's very helpful. If you're down for that, we could walk through. We could add a very insignificant amount of money, but just to show what it actually looks like. I can see here, like, for example, it says your contribution is 0. For example, I know you have a little bit of grain. Well, we could add like 10 cents of grain to the pool so that people could see.
Let's do that. Okay, let's walk through that real quick. Sure.
So we're going to add. Now, keep in mind that, okay, so let's do like, what do you got? 90,000 grain? Oh, you're balling in grain there. Is that 90,000?
Shout out to Monkey Power. He donated an entire batch of food for my workers. He also gave me 2 plots yesterday, which was actually unbelievable. So
sweet. So let's do try it like 100 grain. I don't even know how much that is. What's 100 grain? Type 100 grain on the grain side.
Okay.
Type 100. Okay, type 1,000, because that's very, very small amount of money there. So so 1,000 should be 10 DEC, right? 14 DEC.
14,
okay.
Yep.
Okay. Now, what's important to know here is that once you add liquidity, you can see there's a warning message right above in red. It says shares removed within 30 days will incur a fee. Now, this is very important. So when you add liquidity, and this is a protection mechanism, because it can get weird if they let people come in and out.
Yeah,
so
putting it in and then taking it out, you're disrupting the pool. Yeah.
Yes. So you'll see that once you add, and maybe we can walk through it, and then I'll show you a little bit deeper. So you keep in mind, you can add it for any region. Now, there's I'm going to give you guys a little bit. This is a little bit of a trick. iBlast, this is for you too. So if you have, you're gonna really appreciate this if you don't already know it. So when you are transporting, let's say, grain from one region to another region, okay, you are going to pay a 10% fee to transport, okay? But there's a little bit of a cheat code, okay? And that is if you inject that grain from a different region into the liquidity pool and wait 30 days, you can pull it out in any region for free.
Okay. So you're doing a service for everybody by providing that liquidity, and in turn, it's allowing you to kind of like bypass that fee there.
Yeah, sure. You can look at it that way, yeah. Or you can just say you're going to save the 10% fee by doing it this way. The only side effect is you have to wait 30 days to get it. But if you can think proactively, you could say, hey, I might need this grain in this region. So let me provide it in the liquidity pool. So you can see there that you have the option to pick which region that you want to add the grain from. So in this case, you're adding it from region number, what is that, 140? It's small on my screen.
Eden.
Okay, so you're adding the grain from region 140, but when you pull that grain out of the liquidity pool, you can pull it out in any region you want to, and you avoid the 10% fee.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, sure.
And
So let's go ahead and add.
I just wanted to show this on the map real quick, so if people don't understand what that means. So essentially, if I have a plot over here and I have, I don't know, just random numbers, 100,000 grain, and I need to get it to over here, that's what we're talking about. Even, over here, anywhere else besides in this 140, that's when this is good. That mechanic is going to kick in, and it's kind of like a traveling slash delivery fee, if you will,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You can't get, if you sell refrigerators, you can't get them from New York to Florida without some type of cost. So that's what that's essentially doing. So in this example, you would take the 100,000, you will put it into a neutral pool. At that point, you would wait your 30 days, I believe you said, and then
Yes.
then you can extract that back out into the region needed. So if you need to do it immediately, it's still available for doing it. You're going to have that small delivery fee, if you will, but that's just a nice alternate way of doing it. So okay, great.
Right.
All right, so let's go back
And
into
just
the
yep, and a little bit of a highlight here as well, that when you add, for example, if you add a 1,000 grain today, okay, that 1,000 grain begins to start a 30-day timer. But if you come back tomorrow and you add an additional 1,000 grain, that does not reset the timer for the original 1,000. So only the 1,000 tomorrow is on 30 days, but the original 1,000 you put in is still has 29 days. So you'll see that, in fact, after you put it in, we'll go over and we'll look. So go ahead and add that 1,000.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll show you how this looks if you were trying to pull it out after you add it.
I'm in the correct place, right? Because I backed out, or is it markets?
No, this is a swap, so we want to go
markets,
to
all
the
markets,
market,
manage,
and you're going to pick the market. You want to pick the market that you want to add to. So in this case, we're adding grain. Okay. You could put in the DEC side first, or you could put in the grain side. So if you wanted to put in 10 DEC, you'd put 10 DEC. It will automatically fill in the other side to match the dollar value. So 1,000 grain has the exact same dollar value as 14.26 DEC.
Okay.
So that will change for people as the dollar value of grain changes. This will always be different.
Okay.
Okay. So go ahead and add shares. And then you should get a green pop-up that says, you've added shares. Yes. Okay. Right. Successful. And we'll wait for that to.
All right. A screen I've never seen before in Splinterlands for the past 4 years.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. Shares added. Congratulations. Mm-hmm. And the numbers changed slightly because, it has to try to equal them out. So you've added to the DC. Now go ahead and click the Remove tab.
Okay.
Right next to the Add tab. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now what you're going to see is you're going to see that 100% in red there. There's a message that says 100% of your grain is waiting 30 days. Mm-hmm. So you will see this percentage change if you are staggering entering the pool. So for example, let's say you waited 35 days from now and you add another 1,000. Well, then this would say 50% because 50% of your pool is already vested for the 30 days. The other 50% of the pool you just entered is waiting 30 more days. So then the red message would tell you 50%, which you would know that you can remove 50% of your pool without paying a penalty.
Okay.
And that's how the staggering works. So right now you can't remove any without paying a penalty. Mm-hmm. But if you're staggering it, you'll see that percentage. So for example, this is important because if you are someone who's wanting to avoid the 10% transfer fee, but wait 30 days, you can be staggering in and then staggering out at the same time and not be paying any fees, as long as you don't go over the percentage that you can safely take out. So if this was to say 80%, then you could put 20%. See how it's letting you remove it in a percentage based. Mm-hmm. So you can put in, just type in like 10%. So you can, then it's going to tell you what 10% of the pool would be before you hit remove. See, now you would know that 10% of the pool is 89 grain and 1.2 DEC. And if you could safely take that out, then that's what you would get. And if you would agree with that, you would remove it and you'd be taking that out without a penalty. But in this case, you can't take any of it out unless you want to pay a penalty.
Got you. Okay,
now,
great.
One more important feature is you need to specify where you are sending it to. So this is how you transfer it to a different region, because you can pull it out in any region without paying a penalty. That's how you get it from one region to another region, because you can put it in any region and you could take it out in any region.
Okay. That completes the circle there. Yep.
Sweet.
Okay. I just want to take 1 second here. I just want to shout everybody out in the chat. We got The Ethical in the house. We got Bordell in the house. Silent Wheels in the house. Monkey Power's in the house as well. Yes, Monkey Power. Right now we are playing with your grain that you gave me. So thank you for that. And like I said, we're using this as a learning tool. So without you giving me this grain, we wouldn't be able to run through this. So thank you. I appreciate it. So, okay, let's keep going. Thank you.
This is cool. I hope people appreciate. I really hope we're giving value here. Like.
Yeah. Yes, agreed. I think we are. And even if it's not to the some of the pros that are in the chat there, the people who rewatch this, in 2 months from now on my YouTube channel or something, they're going to get the value for it. Or we can actually point new players to these videos, right? Say, okay, you're new to why don't you go watch this video? Level of Life's going to give you a lot of pointers, and Joe's going to sit there and go, But, it's there for forever. So good stuff. All right, cool. So I think we got this. We have we've shown how to get the stuff in. We've shown the not the penalties, but the way it's structured. You explained all that. Putting it in sections there where that will change, and it doesn't. Which is nice too. That if I go in 5 days and I put it in, I don't have to reset, right? Or also you can't cheat and say, I'm going to wait for the 5th day and then I'm going to put in another extra. So it seems like that's very well balanced. And then at the end of it, the send to portion is the primary goal there is to get it to that other location. And again, you would select your region here, and then you would extract it. Luckily enough, I have all my plots in one region, so that's beneficial. So
got it. Now you can go back to the pools real quick. And this is we'll show them one more thing. So just go back. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then what we'll do is there's a little tab there that says show my fees earned. So this tab is showing you the total fees earned and the total volume, but this little trigger there or switch will now show you specifically to you. So now it shows your contribution and your fees earned today and your fees earned this month and your total fees earned on that pool. Okay.
Guys, we did it. We're earning. Look at this.
You're earning, man.
We're earning. We're in the green already. So we've done something. Cool.
So you control, it'll tell you the percentage of the pool that you control, and then you will earn that percentage of all the fees earned in real time. So you can literally sit here, if you've got a significant amount, you can literally sit here and refresh. And as people swap, you are earning fees in real time.
So I can do a segment with flexor muscles,
Flexing.
Right? Yeah, and I'll tell people, hey, take a screenshot of the pools and your contribution and send it to me, and then whoever gets the highest gets a prize, right?
We can go very deep on this. Listen, iBlast, we can go very deep on this because I'm going to tell you something. Now this is going maybe too deep, but let's go deep for a minute. Let's inject some value here. Think about this. Some people, now watch this. A lot of people ain't thinking like this, guys. If you're watching the stream, iBlast, you're going to get some value here. Ready? Here's the big brain stuff. Ready? Some people say that you need grain plots to earn grain. But if you're a grain liquidity provider, you earn grain. So I want to highlight what am I trying to say here? Let me explain it clearly.
Yeah, no, hold on.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and let me interrupt you for a second because I was given shout out to Warren TRX. He gave me a common occupied plot, and that does SPS. And I was wondering, man, do I have to pull the thing off the SPS? Should I start doing grain because I'm going to need grain? Am I going to sell the SPS to get grain? So then that triggered the show that you saw, which was, hey, let me put a couple of bucks in there and buy another plot and have that dedicated to grain. So that actually circumvents that whole thing. Was instead of, let's say my thing doing SPS, let's say I had a wood or a stone thing. I'm like, oh, I got to feed these dudes. Well, okay, take the first couple of months of generation of the stone and whatnot, park it in here, and then start accumulating grain. So excellent. Yep.
That's right. So think of it like let's paint the vision. You're a vendor in the marketplace. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you sell carrots. Well, you don't need to farm carrots because you're a buyer and seller of carrots, right? So you're earning carrots. So you don't have to actually be a carrot farmer. So in this scenario, you could say, you know what? Instead of me buying grain plots to earn grain, I will just be the liquidity provider for grain, and I will earn grain fees.
Okay. Yep.
So now you could say, for example, you could come here and say, I'm averaging 1,000 grain, a day. All right. Well, you're earning grain.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah, no, that's definitely good. And I can see right away from the chat there you've inspired OFG. He's already adding some stuff into the liquidity pool, and a lot of people are thanking you for that. So that's awesome, guys. I just want to say real quick, I'm probably not going to be able to answer questions directly on this because there's so much that we have to bite. However, I will be reviewing this stream. I will be taking notes of all the questions that you do. So please continue to put questions in there. We can address those at a later time. We'll come back. We'll visit that. So like King Arminius, for example, thank you for putting that question out there. But we'll go back to that, and we'll really dive into that for you. So okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
And I'm just letting everybody know, man. We could do a whole segment on this, and I could go deeper, but we won't get past the market. But yeah, this is very, listen, this is exciting. Look, it's game 5, and we can go deep into the FI part, and the FI part can support the game part. So if you could win in the FI part, you can win in the game. It gives you an advantage in the game. And so we're really digging in. This is really the FI part. A lot of people want to do the exciting part, like how much grain, and think about the future and read the white paper. But, if you start now thinking about the FI, you get positioned in the liquidity pool. I tell my Filipino friends, I said, get 1% of the grain pool and maintain 1% of the pool, and you will be earning 1% of all the fees on grain forever.
Nice.
And you don't even listen. The way the game works right now, guys. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised if they change it in the future. But right now, you do not have to own any plots. You can actually farm grain without owning any plots. Right now.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways,
yeah. It seems like I am. I want to do something real quick here. If I can, give me a few seconds here. I want to try and get rid of these ads. I don't want to have ads on here. If I can, again, sorry, I'm new to the streaming stuff here. So let me see if I can put this on like the minimum low. All right, I've put it down to as low as I possibly can, guys. Hopefully that'll help you out. I have it on automatic. I've lowered it down to the minimum there. Sorry. All right, let's keep it going.
Okay.
All right. He's still up. Oh, that made you small for some reason. All right. All right, guys. Here's the noob. All right. Okay, great. So, all right, let's proceed. We've covered the swap. We've covered the markets. We've covered the benefits. We've covered how to manipulate your assets to and fro. Awesome. We'll dive back into that deeper. Absolutely. We'll do a 102. So, if you're willing.